What's up, everybody? How's it going? So, we're live on YouTube tonight. Got a little work on our baby here. Got some new tires on it. Not sure if it's on camera or not, but hey, new tires. We got a ITP whole shop, cross countries. So, tonight what we're going to do real quick is we're going to pop the carb off, then we're going to switch over to the bench and pop the new jet kit in. So, stay tuned. Let's grab some tools. Okay. We'll need a handful of things to get the carb off. A driver with a screwdriver on it, Phillips head. And then we need a number 4 Allen bit. And a number 4 Allen wrench. And this is just to cut a zip tie. Alright, most of that's done. Now I just need a 10mm, then we'll loosen up the throttle cable, pop that off. Alright, now we'll pop the fuel line off, catch whatever fuel comes out. Now I'm just going to grab a small screwdriver and help to pop the small electrical connectors off. There's 2 on the carb. And they're off. Nice and simple. Now to make things even easier to get the carb out, I just loosen the 4 airbox bolts. Then you can move the airbox, pull the boot off, and the carb comes right out. Alright, here comes carb. Just got to get the overflow lines. Bam. All right, we'll switch over. We will switch over to the bench here and keep going. This carburetor has a lot of gas and I'm draining the overflow. Or the bowl. Okay, so, like I said, as you can see, that was all the gas that was in the bowl. Put that back in the tank. Okay, so what we're here to do is this. JD jetting kit. This thing ran great at the elevation I'm at now, so we're definitely going to keep track of what we got now, but we're going to go to this. Get that out the way. So it's pretty simple to change everything over in this. Right here on the top, this is I believe what they call an FCR carb. CR, I believe it's FCR is what the whole thing is. But to get to the needle, 2 Allens right here. Okay. Since we're not going to be taking too much off, we don't need to keep track of too many parts. We're just going to throw them right there. Right. And right down in here, that Allen screw right there, that retains your needle. It's going to be a number 4 Allen. Now, on this Allen right here, it's just holding the needle in. You can see it's got a little brass, I guess, washer, spacer, and a spring. So, just in case that happens to fall apart, you know that should be all together. Should be spring, then brass spacer, if it comes apart on you. And then, there's your needle. Get some more light over here. There's your needle right down in there. There's your needle right there. Usually, you can just do this. There it is. If it's not coming out right away or just a little stuck, I mean, just a pair of needle nose pliers, reach in, grab it, comes right out. But we have a new needle in the kit right here. I already gave the instructions a once over, but I'm just going to double check. Okay, so right here, this is going to be us. We want to install the number 160 main jet for riding above 6,000 feet elevation and use the red needle on the 4th clip position, 4th from the top, okay? Because right now where we are in my garage is 6,000 feet. My trailhead, the closest one, is 72, 75, 7,800 feet. Just depends where I decide to unload my truck at, or my quad at. So, we will go right in here. We got our needles. The red needle's already selected. You can see right here, red on the top. And now the hard part, at least to show on camera, if you can see here, there's tiny, tiny little grooves. We need the 4th from the top, I believe they said. Yeah, 4th clip position from the top. So, easy way to get these off. If you're on the trail, you just find anything flat, like right here, the side of this screwdriver. You just take the open end, put it down, against the screwdriver, press. There it is, it comes right off. And then to install, you do the same thing but in reverse. All right, so we need the fourth position from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. Whoop, we dropped it, so we count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a click. It's in. See there? Hopefully it's focusing. Now we're going to double check our count. 1, 2, 3. Okay, number 4. Perfect. Everything looks clean. Now we grab our little Allen head screw with the brass washer and spring, the retainer, and put it on top. Driver, number 4. Don't kill it. It does not need to be over tight. If I had to guess on a foot-pound, 4 or 5, if that. 3 probably does the trick in here. I mean, even if it comes loose, it can't fall out. So it's one of those things you could fix trail side rather than stripping it out. And reinstall the cover. That's a number 3 Allen, by the way. Okay, now the bottom. Now time for the main jet and the pilot jet. We need a 17. It's in here. 17. If you have it, use a 6 or an 8 point, but these shouldn't be super tight either. This is all just aluminum. Then we come in here. If I remember correctly, we need one of these. All right, so we're taking out the main jet. When you pull that 17 millimeter nut off, you got your main jet here. This is your main jet, this one here. Down in this recessed hole, if you can see that, that's your pilot jet. This one here, some YFZ 450 carbs or FCR carbs, this is plugged. But this is your air fuel screw. It's a fuel screw on this carb, just so you know, and it only controls down in the idle circuit. So from the pilot screw down. All right, and we just took out a 152 main jet. And if I remember correctly, it said to put the 160 in. 160 main jet for 6,000 feet and above. I believe this is 160. 160. Right there. So, slip that right in here. Turn the carb over and install. Nice and gentle. If you feel any binding, stop. There we go, got it started. Okay, that's it. It was just a little tight with this bit because of how thick it is. That's why I was being careful. Oh, and then we need a flathead screwdriver to get the pilot jet out. I think this one will do the trick. Nope, too big. Try this one. Alright, once you think you've unscrewed it enough, just turn it over. And out comes your pilot jet. You can always tell the pilot from the main. This is a main jet. Right here, this is a pilot. So on an FCR carb, they're pretty hard to mix up. I mean, this one is much longer, plus it has all these perforations, holes along it. This one is just a straight through jet. This jet is what controls from about 3/4 throttle to full throttle, nothing else. Your pilot jet is what controls from idle till about 1/8 throttle. And then your needle, it takes care of everything else in between 1/8 throttle, so about, or I'm sorry, from about 1/4 throttle, 1/8 throttle, somewhere in there, depending on what it is, all the way up to 3/4 throttle, where the main jet takes over. Now, there is a relation to how the main jet and this interact, okay? It's very minor, and most of the time you don't need to worry about it, but sometimes it can be a big deal if you're pushing things to the limit. Something to keep note of. Now, another thing we have in this jet kit is this. These are for the accelerator pump, these two little plastic O-rings, or rubber, sorry. And the accelerator pump is right here on this. This little thing right here. As the throttle's twisted, it's activated. Now, if you can see there, somebody's already wire tied this shut before me, so the accelerator pump is instant. We're gonna leave it like it is and see how it runs. Maybe we'll go to one of these because we have two options. This one is supposed to be around 40%. This one is supposed to be on 80% increase. So, we'll see. This should be, I guess, 100%. This one should be about 100% because it's wired solid. It doesn't give it all. Now, the only thing we have left to do is set the screw on the bottom. Let's see what they recommend. This is for the fuel mixture screw on the bottom. That's what we're going to check what they recommend the setting for. Okay, so they're calling for 2 turns, and right now this should be sitting at about 2.25, 2.5, because we were adjusting it at the track the other day. So we'll turn in, this is your main jet, pilot jet right here. This little hole, the fuel mixture screw. So we'll turn it all the way in. Very gently. You don't want to slam it down in there when it bottoms out. There it is. All right, now it says 2 turns, so half a turn, 1 turn, 1.5, 2 turns. There we go. Now, reinstall the 17mm on the bottom. Don't need to kill it, just needs to be tight. Give everything a quick once over, make sure we didn't forget anything. Slide moves, we're good there. Now we'll switch cameras, throw this back on the quad. Oh, before we do that, let's get a drink. Okay, on to the next step. Okay, so we're going to need our driver, our 10mm, the cover for the carb right here, for the throttle, and the carb itself. Set those there, and then all of our random bolts we took off. And screws. Now let's switch camera back over. Okay. All right, let's throw this back on. So, step 1. We're just going to take it over there and fish it up into the machine and get it on the boot, both the head side and the intake side. Oh, I had that backwards, but you get the idea. Intake, head. All right, back in place. So the first thing I like to do is I get the carb in there, I get it on the head boot. Then I take the box, I slip the intake boot on. I tighten both of those down, and that makes sure the carburetor and the boots are in place. Then I go from there. Wires, throttle cable, fuel line. Okay, so what I was spending all that time doing over there is I was putting the throttle cable back in place and then adjusting the slack or free play. Because what you need is just a little bit, I don't know what the book calls for, but the way I test it is with the cover off, you put the throttle in place, you adjust it to where you think is good, and you turn the bars while looking at the throttle cable. If you see it moving and pulling on the carburetor and actually adjusting anything or moving the slide, you know when you go full left or full right, it's going to apply the throttle and increase your idle, which could be something you really don't want. So that's why you saw me turning the bars and adjusting. It was the throttle play. I was getting it set to where it didn't move anything, and there was still just a little bit of play in the throttle when I touched it. That's what was going on there. Now I'm going to grab the side cover and the two Allens and throw that back on. We're missing a tiny piece of rubber that goes on the cover for the throttle cable. It keeps like dust and stuff out. We need to find it. I don't know where it went, but it's here somewhere. Unless it fell off on my last ride and I didn't notice during disassembly. Alright, so I didn't find the little rubber grommet yet, but I went ahead and installed the cover, mainly because I want to help keep dirt and stuff out. It still can get in there, but I got to put it on there for now. We know it's in the garage, so we just got to find it. It's that simple. Whether that's tonight or tomorrow, we'll just keep looking. So next step is to install the 4 bolts holding the airbox back in. Okay. Bam! Carb rejetted and back installed. We're missing one little rubber grommet, but we can take care of that. I can even make that rubber grommet if I need to out of a piece of hose or something. We will make sure that dust does not get in there. But now what we're going to do is give a quick search on the machine because it could have fallen right underneath the actual carburetor. Flashlight wasn't working. I have to go get my other one. Mini mag light to the rescue. I see it. I see it. I see it. We need the needle nose to get it, but I see it. I can't see it from that side, but I can see it clear as day from this side, so hopefully these are long enough. Okay, I see where it is. I think I can get it over here. I just can't quite get a good enough hold of it to pull it out. Okay, I've made the problem worse. I've now dropped it down into a hole that I can't get into. We may have to pull the carb just to get it. At least we know how to do that. Yeah, I don't see any other way to get it out but to pull the carb. But luckily we know exactly how to do that. It'll only take us a second. Let's just get to it. Actually, we're going to see if rotating it is enough for me to get my hand and pliers in there. Alright, I can touch it with my hand. I just need to get something to push it. Got it. There she is. Got a little dirty in the process, but we got it. Alright, let's go reinstall the piece we fished out. Alright, that job's done. Tighten up the clamps. And then check your magnetic tray. No extra screws, bolts, nuts, etc. And then we'll give it a quick visual check just to see if we miss anything. Everything looks good. If it weren't 11:20 at night, I'd fire it up. But my neighbors wouldn't like that. I can almost guarantee it. But we'll call that a job well done. We'll put the seat back on with the battery tender on it. All right. So, that didn't go too bad. Now, well, hopefully the JD jetting kit, hopefully their tips work out pretty good in their base settings, you know. Never used them before, so we can't say. We tried the dyno jet, it just did not work, and because their jet numbers are not normal, it makes it hard to work with. So I didn't know what jets to go by. They use an emulsion tube, blah, blah, blah. We returned that, and we're going to go with JD jetting kit. If this doesn't work out, then we'll just go to the Yamaha dealership and pick up a jet here and there, because now we have 2 adjustable needles. We have an adjustable fuel screw on the way. It shows up Thursday, I believe. Just got new tires today. We are getting this thing dialed in. Alright, my next upgrade, I don't even want to call it an upgrade, but a comfort of life, is I'm trying to decide whether I want to go hydraulic clutch or go with some sort of mechanical advantage. Like, I believe Moose Racing makes a device you mount in line that multiplies your clutch pull, makes it easier. There's several other companies that make clutch levers and things you can do. But being full cable, and because I trail ride it as well as track ride it, the lighter the clutch pull, the better it is on my arms. That's simple, my forearms especially. We get more condition every time we ride, but still, having a nice light clutch pull would be nice. Won't lie. Definitely would like to have a nice light clutch pull. I don't want to go into the clutch cover and lighten up the springs, because I want the holding power in high gear, especially when I go out to the dunes and stuff with paddle tires, because I plan to load it up power-wise on several occasions, so we won't do that. But, you know, It's just for fun. We don't have to be the fastest guy around. We're just there to have fun and not hurt anything. I don't want to slip the clutch, burn the clutch up. That's why I don't want to lighten the springs up. I would much rather go hydraulic or do some sort of a mechanical advantage in the lever and the linkage. But we'll see what the budget allows, because I know there's definitely some great options out there. I'm leaning towards going hydraulic. I'm just not sure yet. I'm just not sure. I think hydraulic is probably the best option. And I've also seen like all-in-one kits where you remove your lever and it comes with everything you need and you just throw it on there. I think Moose Racing might actually make that as well. But it's a reputable company that makes it, and it comes recommended. There's a lot of people that like it. Because my whole thing is, where I live, I don't want to be 5, 10, 15 miles out in the trail and have it fail on me. Because it's not as reliable as some people say, because they only ride it in their back fucking yard. You know, I ride in the Rocky Mountains and shit, so if I'm at the track and it breaks, no big deal. If I'm up in the mountains, there could be nobody for 10, 15, 20 miles. So reliability is a big thing to me when I go to do something to this machine. That's why when the Dyno Jet kit gave me the trouble it did, I immediately pulled it off and went right back to what I had, because I couldn't even ride the machine. It would start up as long as I played with the throttle. There was no throttle screw adjustment, or I'm sorry, air fuel screw adjustment I could do to make it run at idle. And then anything outside of that, it was backfiring, popping, cracking. I mean, it was just a nightmare to ride. And I was just going up and down the trail 50, 60 yards for like 10, 20 minutes. I warmed it up to see if that was the problem. That was okay if it was cold-natured, and then once it warmed up, it ran good, but no. I messed with it for like 2 hours up there on the trailhead one night where I could ride it and make noise, and I couldn't get it to run. Well, I could get it to run, but not idle, and it was unrideable. It was completely unrideable with the throttle control. You couldn't trust it. You didn't know what it was going to do, if it was going to backfire, if it was going to lunge, if it was going to die. You couldn't ride it like that. Now, at different elevations, it may be much better. I live at 6,000 feet, ride at 7,000, 8,000 feet. My track is 5,000 feet, my closest track. So, I needed a reliable kit. I need something that, I don't mind swapping the main jet, changing the clip on the needle. You know, I don't mind having to adjust it when I go to the track or when I go to the mountains. I'm completely cool with that. It needs to be rideable. This was unrideable, and no matter what jets I put in it with the few it had, I couldn't get it to run. And the other problem was it only came with one pilot jet, and everything else was main jets. And I was having idling and park problems, so main jet wasn't going to help me. Push it closer. We'll have a seat. Okay. So, like I was saying, rideability and reliability are a big thing to me. Because I can't ride up here in the mountains if I can't trust it. I mean, it's just common sense. I don't want to break down 12 million times or have it, even if it runs okay on the throttle, if I'm constantly stalling out and dying every time I let off the throttle and I wear my battery out and then I can't start it outside of a push start, fuck all that. I mean, this thing has no kick start, no pull start, it's electric start only, outside of me pushing it and popping the clutch. And depending where you are in the mountains, it may not be the best option. You may have to push it a while. Because it can be fairly flat or, you know, rocky and just not the kind of terrain where you may not be able to get it started the easiest. You know, just, it is what it is out there in the mountain. You can't change Mother Nature. You just ride in it and enjoy it. And out here, that's the main thing. You're getting out in it, you're enjoying it. You don't want to break down in it. We got bears, mountain lions, moose, elk. We've had deer get aggressive out here. I think they're mule deer technically. I'm not sure, maybe they're whatever they are, but I've never had a whitetail buck get aggressive with me, and I've seen hundreds of them up close. Working outside and shit. the second or third mule deer I saw out here came aggressive at me and our friends. It was like, nah, this is my territory. Fuck off. And it was, coming at us. I thought we were going to have to, like, jump in a tree. I'm not trying to get mauled or gored by a fucking buck by any means. No, sir. Well, you can see the tires a little bit there in the camera. ITP whole shot cross countries. 11-inch wide. I believe these are 20-inch tall tires, 22 in the front. Maybe it's 21, 22. I don't know. Yeah, 20 11 by 9 in the rear, 22 7 by 10 in the front. They look awesome. Can't wait to get out and hit the trails in them. Cannot wait. Can't wait to go back to the track with them either, honestly. There was a couple of those doubles where I was coming out of the corners and really having to work to get up to speed and still coming up a little short. I was getting it, but not quite. I have high hopes with this JD jetting kit. Really high hopes. A lot of people really like it, so I'm hoping it works out good for us. Even though we're still pretty sore from the track yesterday, and then working on this today. I did my stretching and all that stuff. Hydrated. And then I just went back to doing my thing. Gotta keep going. I'm gonna try to hit the trails on this tomorrow. Try to. If scheduling and soreness allows, we'll do it. I feel okay. I mean, I'm sore, but I can do it. As soon as I get to moving really hard and loosened up, warmed up, I won't even notice the pain until I get home. And then I don't care. I love this quad. I wish it were a different color. Yellow is not my thing. Yellow on black. Good combo. But it has a spot in my heart that I don't like. I'm a Ravens fan. Yellow and black and white screams Pittsburgh Steelers to me. We don't like the Steelers. I love this four-wheeler. I love it. That's why I'm considering a graphics wrap for it. I'm just not sure. Because I think a wrap would be much cheaper than new plastics. Because I looked into just changing the front plastics. The black is fine. Like if I went black, left the white, if we left the black, left this centerpiece that's white and black and fake carbon fiber, and just swapped out the tank cover and the fenders for blue, I think that would look pretty good. And then maybe put some graphics back on the fenders. Whatever that is. Whatever graphics we pick. But also trying to make a decision because I'm about to buy riding gear soon, and I want it to match my quad. I'm that kind of guy. I either want to go kind of neutral tone so I can wear it with anything, or ride with anything, or I want to get like a black with maybe some yellow accents, which I've already kind of put some in my shopping cart. So I'll kind of match my bike, but we'll see. I may just go for a fairly plain riding gear, that way I can put whatever graphics and color I want on it, or just not care. Excuse me, yeah, perfect. And just wear whatever gear I like. Fuck the color of the bike, fuck the color of the gear, as long as I like it, who cares? Not sure which route to go yet. And then we crushed another beer. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to check the oil after riding all day at the track. See what it looks like. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well it's going to show up, but this oil still looks like brand new. Perfectly clear. And I rode it hard at the track for about 4.5 hours. Now, I know that it could be much worse, but there's not even any black dust in there. It doesn't look shiny like there's metal, but there's no black particles from clutch, which is what's surprising to me. So I was, like I said, I was riding hard. Once I hit the track and I commit to ride hard, I have little mechanical sympathy for certain parts, brakes and clutch being the parts in question. I won't blow up the engine just to have fun, but I'll wear the clutch out, I'll wear the brakes out if I need to. And on the tracks, there's a lot of different techniques, and sometimes in the corners, I would just roll in with the clutch out and throttle up and throw a big roost, and other times, I'd squeeze in the clutch, bang some throttle, and pop it, and let some dirt fly even more. Just depends how you're feeling. And then on some of the other sections of the off-road park, where you got to get up over some rocks and obstacles, I was both giving it throttle and feathering the clutch a lot to, get the front end up. Got some GoPro footage, but made a slight mistake on my helmet mount. I need to adjust it, and I was too excited, didn't check it. It was aimed down a little far, but there were some pretty good obstacles there where, they're at like a steep angle, 55, 60 degrees it seemed like, maybe more than that. And they're rocky, and I was able to wheelie up and over them, even with my bald tires. And a lot of that is clutch and throttle play at the same time. You're doing both. Our header wrap held up good, DEI exhaust wrap. We wrapped it, a couple coats of silicone spray. So far so good. I might spray it again in a few spots, I'm not sure. But otherwise it held up good. I noticed a drastic difference on my leg. I didn't feel the heat. I burnt my boot in a couple spots, but let me show you. Today we went shopping. And what we bought was a 12-inch by 18-inch sheet of, what gauge is this? 22 gauge sheet metal. That was $8 and change, $9 probably after tax at Home Depot. And this is the template we've already cut out and made to make a heat shield. It's going to kind of go right down here in the seat fender area, but it's where my exhaust pipe goes and it's close to my boot. And I keep burning my calf on my boot. So you can buy a heat shield for like $30, but it's a couple little bends. I got a vise right here. I spent $30 for that. I got some black high temp paint, 4 headers that I can put on this. So no, ain't happening. Had it been $15, I'd have probably bought it. Honestly, especially if it was good quality, look good, painted or whatever, powder coated. $15, $30, no. I'll make one. Because here's why. As soon as I wanted to go price it out first. Here's the template for what you need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can make 6 attempts at this. 6. Roughly. Give or take. If I make this bigger, maybe a little less, maybe it's 5 attempts. Maybe it's 4 attempts. Maybe I'm terrible at metalwork and I get 2 attempts. It's $8. And the screws to mount it are already on here, or bolts. It's for the foot guard and the brake reservoir. That's what you mount it. So, I was not spending $30 when I can get this for $9. Now remember, I can make 6 of these roughly on here for $9. I could go buy a couple more sheets of this for $9 and still be cheaper than the $30 to buy one. Because you don't have to paint it if you really, really are on a budget and don't want to. You could leave it raw just like that. And just hit it with a piece of sandpaper when it rusts up, spray with some WD-40, and call it good for a long time. Buy any cheap can of spray paint and protect it and you'll be good. What I have is this. As soon as I locate it. Yeah, this is only like, I think it was like $10, $15, don't quote me on that. But it's the DEI high temp silicone spray. And it says right on it, it's made for grills and all sorts of stuff, so. And it's black, just like I've already sprayed this on the header pipe wrap, the exhaust. I'm just going to spray this on the metal. I'm just going to scuff it up with, I don't know, I got all sorts of sandpaper in here. If I had to guess what I'll use, is probably like 220, 400, something like in that lines. 6, 8, I mean really whatever I got in there, I'm going to use it on that. I'm going to clean it up, scuff it up real good, and that's what I'm going to paint it with. If it lasts for a year, it lasts for a year. I really don't care. It'll look great. But yeah. All I'm going to do is cut this out like so. Take grinder, round off the edges. You know, don't want any sharp edges, and bolt that in place. Spray that high temp silicone spray on here from DEI. And that'll be it. If it still gets too hot on the outside and is like just on the verge of melting my boot, maybe, or you know, to the touch of my pants, I will get some of like the reflective tape and just put behind it and reflect some more heat. There's already some of that right here on the other side of that plastic. It probably came with the FMF kit when they got the exhaust to protect it from the heat. I'll just get something similar, and I only need a small piece like this. You know, just plaster a piece right here. The bolt holes go in the bottom. Plaster a piece here. Good to go. Yeah, that's probably what we'll end up doing for our next stream is making that. I'll have to do that a little bit earlier because even if I use the jigsaw or the grinder, the angle grinder to cut that out, it'll be a little more noisy. You know, I want to be respectful of my neighbors. But we'll do that, you know, in the afternoon one day. We'll cut that out, throw it in the vise, bend it up, and slap it on the machine. And then our boot will be safe. So that's probably going to be our next four-wheeler stream. I do want to do some gaming. I haven't done any in like a week, and I've been dying to play some fucking video game. But life comes first, and this thing is screaming my name. Like right now, if I could, I'd go ride it in the dark. Wouldn't care. Fire up the lights, rip up the trails. I mean, I can go to the trails right now. My wife wouldn't be happy, so we won't do that. But that's like 30 minutes away, 30 minutes back, plus the ride, and we won't do that right now. Or will we? I'm thinking about loading this up and heading up there. No, we'll be good. We'll be good. We'll wait till tomorrow and we'll go. No tempting me. Bad girl. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and call that a stream for the night. I hope everything worked out okay on the viewer side, the music, the sound, the quality. This is our first stream tonight, so you all stay safe out there, and we will catch you next time.